My name is Jack and I'm a passionate angler, and in this series of films I'm trying to catch 100 different species of fish in Britain. In today's film I'm going after some mini non-native species.
Well, how are we all doing? Today I am in Hampshire and I am looking for a rather small but incredibly invasive fish called a topmouth gudgeon. Now, I'm not going to say exactly where I am because I don't want to encourage people to find them, but you can see there's a tiny little stream there, and there definitely was gudgeon in here, or topmouth gudgeon. I don't know if there is now, but I've got a net, a fishing net, not a person called a net, and I've also got cameras which I'm going to lower in. That might not be a bad spot. And we'll see what we get. I've got no idea if we'll find them today, but fingers crossed we will, although in many ways it'd be good if we don't find them.
Topmouth gudgeon are from East Asia originally and came in via the aquarium trade. They breed rapidly and devour other fish's eggs. No bigger than 4 inches, they aren't a big fish but can be prolific with time. I first saw them at this site 4 years ago, where I accidentally caught a couple on camera. You can see here some of them with the flat head and stripes, so I know they were here relatively recently.
Well, I had a go at netting, and as lovely as it was, didn't catch anything, let alone the fish that I'm after. The bottom's really silty, so it is tricky to spot fish. As I'm walking along the river, I am seeing fish. There's a couple of nice chub, lots of little small stuff, and it's really difficult to tell if any of that small stuff is a topmouth gudgeon or not. So really I'm relying on the cameras that I've put in now. With a little bit of luck, they'll pick something up. I've just stopped because I keep hearing a cuckoo, which has stopped now. But there is a cuckoo around, which would be lovely to get some footage of. Well, I'm relying solely on the cameras now, so I'm going to go back, review the footage, and if we've got a topmouth, you'll see it shortly. If we haven't, then I'm not too bothered, because really we don't want to be finding him here anyway. There aren't many of them left and they're not native, so it's sort of a bonus fish, but here's the footage I got anyway.
So plenty of roach, minnows, and even a small pike, and a native gudgeon, which differ from topmouths by having an underslung mouth and barbels, which topmouths lack. To be honest, this might be the only time I'm happy to not find a species. They are pretty much eradicated now in the UK, with only a handful of sites left. A similar story is that of the black bullhead catfish, which are an American species that was found in a few waterways, but is now thought to be absent from the UK. Well, from the warm Hampshire countryside to a slightly different location. I know what you're thinking, Jack, what are we doing in your kitchen? Well, I was going to go and travel for this fish, which is the sun bleak. However, they're pretty easy to catch and they're a bit boring if I'm honest with you. So I didn't think it was worth doing a whole 5-minute segment chasing after this little fish. So let's find out a little bit more about the sun bleak. Also known as the motherless minnow, it's a member of the cyprinid family native to continental Europe. They breed rapidly, so can outcompete native fish quickly, and are widespread across the Somerset levels, but now sporadically found in many English waterways. Likely an accidental import of other fish, as they have little interest in the aquarium trade. You can easily ID them from other silverfish, as they have a lateral line that curves up slightly and stops halfway along the body. From one tiny cyprinid to another now, I'm back outdoors fishing for this one. Well, I'm after my next mini non-native species, and that is the bitterling. Now, you can travel a fair way for them. The River Cam in Cambridgeshire is well known for it, all the way up to Cheshire, even into North Wales. But I've decided to go local today. I'm at Colic Marina here on the Trent, and I know they're in here. There was a survey done a few years ago and they turned up, so I'm hoping I can pick one out. Tactics pretty easy. I've just got a little whip pole, and I'm actually using pinky maggots, which are kind of extra small maggots. Really small hook, size 20, because these fish have got tiny, tiny mouths. but with a bit of luck, we'll pick one out. Never fished here before, so no idea how it's going to go. I can see fish in there though, so fingers crossed. Chuck a few pinkies in, just careful not to overfeed, because one or two maggots and they'll be full up. The float's been wiggling for a while. I'm just going to hit that. Oh, something small's on. That's good. The elastic's not bending. What is that? I think, yeah, it is. Bitterling. Oh, wow. Well, it's nice to see that a bit of research pays off. Fantastic. Right, I've got a little tub for this, so I'm going to chuck it in that. We'll have a closer look. Here is my little bitterling. These little viewing tanks are really, really handy for small species. I definitely recommend. This is a homemade one, but you can buy them if you're rock pool fishing, mini fish fishing. But it's a bitterling. The way I can tell it's a bitterling, it's got a bit of a stripe down the lateral line, and it's not as deep bodied as bream. Not the biggest fish to catch, but I'm chuffed with it. So let's find out a little bit more about bitterling.
The European bitterling prefers slow-moving water, so this marina should be perfect habitat for them. The Trent isn't especially known for them, but they certainly are found in the river. Unlike the other species in today's video, bitterling are relatively harmless, seeming to slot into our freshwater ecosystems pretty well. Around the size of a 50p coin, they don't get much bigger, so even a size 20 hook is pushing it for them. They have the most remarkable way of breeding of any freshwater fish in the UK, with females using a fleshy tube called an ovipositor to deposit eggs into a living freshwater mussel, which the male, in vibrant breeding colours, fertilises. These fish are patchy in distribution, with East Anglia and Cheshire being strongholds. The last species in today's vid is one that's a fairly new arrival, or at least discovery for Britain, and that's the guyball carp, also known as Prussian carp. I'm on a syndicate lake in Sussex today, which is currently being monitored by the Environment Agency for them, who have DNA tested the fish. Tactics are pretty simple: bred and float in the margins, and soon caught a small common carp. Before long, the float went down again, and I got the target fish.
So it's not much to look at, but this is the Prussian carp, or guyball carp. This lake's absolutely stuffed with them. Already caught a few. Chucked it in a tank just so we can have a little bit of a look at it. If you didn't know any better, you could be forgiven for thinking it was a goldfish, but they are a related but separate species. Can't say I'm going to be rushing back to catch them, but it's a new species off the list.
The worry with guyballs is that they routinely hybridise with Prussians and breed them out. The quickest way to tell them apart is true Prussians have a convex dorsal fin, where guyballs are concave. There are other ID features, but I'll save them for another upcoming film. Hopefully you enjoyed this mishmash. I didn't feel that any of these species would warrant a whole video to themselves, hence putting them all together. If you'd enjoyed this one, why not check out the other species hunting videos on the channel? Thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, liking the video and subscribing to the channel really helps me out. But you can also donate to my buymeacoffee.com link, and all the money from that goes back into making new films for the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. You can check out some other videos in the links here. Also check out my website and social media, as well as the podcast that I host, the Bearded Tits Podcast. Cheers.